Welcome to New York City. Let's have a look at drone view and facts of the city. New York City has over 8 million residents, making it the most populous city in the country. The first skyscraper, the home insurance building, was constructed in New York City in 1884. Times Square New Year Eve ball drop has been a tradition since 1907. The Brooklyn Bridge, completed in 1883, was the world's first steel wire suspension bridge. New York City is home to residents who speak over 800 languages. The Bronx Zoo is the largest metropolitan zoo in the U.S. Central Park spans 843 acres, larger than Monaco. The United Nations headquarters is considered international territory. The High Line is a public park built on an elevated historic freight rail line. The Empire State Building changes its lights to reflect different events and holidays. New York City subway system is the largest metro system globally, with 472 stations. The Charging Bull statue in the financial district represents aggressive financial optimism. St. Patrick Cathedral is the largest Gothic-style Catholic cathedral in the U.S. Grand Central Terminal, with over 44 platforms, is the world's largest train station. The New York Public Library is the third largest public library globally. The Cloisters Museum in Fort Tryon Park is dedicated to medieval European art. New York City Chinatown is the largest in the Western Hemisphere. Designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, the Guggenheim Museum resembles a giant spiral. The Metropolitan Museum of Art has over 2 million works of art, spanning 5,000 years. The New York Yankees have won the most World Series titles in MLB history. The Apollo Theater in Harlem has been a historic venue for African American performers. The 1920s saw the flourishing of African American culture in Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance. The New York City Marathon is the largest marathon globally. Central Park Tower will surpass 432 Park Avenue, becoming the tallest residential building. Coney Island amusement parks date back to the 19th century. The annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade has been a tradition since 1924. Jazz originated in New Orleans, but found a home in Harlem during the Harlem Renaissance. The New York Stock Exchange is the world's largest stock exchange by market capitalization, which was established in 1792. New York City has over 1,500 acres of rooftop gardens. Graffiti originated in New York City in the 1970s. The Dakota Building was the location of John Lennon's assassination in 1980. The East Village was the birthplace of the punk rock movement in the 1917s. The Bowery Ballroom is a historic music venue on the Lower East Side. The Woolworth Building was once the tallest building globally from 1913 to 1930. The New York Botanical Garden showcases over 1 million plants in the Bronx. New York City's smallest apartment is just 78 square feet. Flatbush Avenue is one of the longest streets in Brooklyn. The Roosevelt Island Tramway is the only commuter cable car in North America. Katz's Delicatessen is famous for its pastrami sandwiches. The East River is not a river but a tidal estuary. New York City Federal Reserve Bank has the largest gold storage in the world. The Verrazano-Narrows Bridge connects Staten Island to Brooklyn and is the longest suspension bridge in the U.S. The Cloisters houses a collection of medieval European art. The Staten Island Ferry provides stunning views of the Statue of Liberty and the Manhattan skyline. The Solomon R. Guggenheim Museum's spiral design was conceived by architect Frank Lloyd Wright. Grand Central Terminal main concourse features a stunning celestial mural. Brooklyn Prospect Park was designed by the same architects as Central Park. The Charging Bull sculptor Arturo di Modica installed it without permission in 1989. New York City subway system has the world's largest fleet of subway cars. The Bowery, once a Native American footpath, is one of New York City's oldest streets. The Waldorf Astoria was the first hotel to offer room service. The Apollo 11 astronauts were celebrated with a ticker tape parade on Broadway. Greenwich Village Washington Square Park was a burial ground for victims of the yellow fever epidemic. The Dakota Building is where scenes from the movie Rosemary's Baby were filmed. The Brooklyn Bridge's construction used more than 600 workers. The New York City Marathon had its first running in 1970 with 127 participants. New York City subway system has a designated poet laureate. The East River is technically not a river, but a tidal estuary. The Met Cloisters medieval gardens are inspired by European medieval gardens. The Brooklyn Botanic Garden features the first Japanese garden in the U.S. The Flatiron Building was one of the tallest buildings in New York City upon its completion. The Financial District Charging Bull was initially placed there illegally. Central Park's Bethesda Terrace is featured in several movies, including The Avengers. The Museum of Modern Art is home to Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. Prospect Park Lafrock Center at Lakeside features an ice skating rink and roller rink. The Bronx is the birthplace of hip-hop music and culture. The Verrazano Narrows Bridge hosts the New York City Marathon starting line. The first recorded game of baseball was played in Hoboken, New Jersey. The Stonewall Inn was declared a national monument in 2016. New York City's subway system has over 660 miles of track. Times Square's New Year Eve ball weighs nearly 12,000 pounds. The Metropolitan Museum of Art rooftop garden offers panoramic views of the city. The United Nations headquarters has its own post office with its postage stamps. Prospect Park Zoo is home to over 600 animals. The Cloisters is named after the architectural elements incorporated from 5 medieval European abbeys. The Brooklyn Bridge is the world's first hybrid cable-stayed or suspension bridge. The Financial District's Charging Bull was created as a symbol of hope during tough economic times. The Metropolitan Museum of Art Great Hall is one of the largest museum spaces in the world. The Brooklyn Bridge's designer, John A. Roebling, died of tetanus before its completion. The New York City subway system's annual ridership exceeds 1.7 billion. The East River is not a river, but a tidal strait connecting Upper New York Bay to Long Island Sound. The iconic I Love New York logo was created by graphic designer Milton Glaser in 1977. The Metropolitan Museum of Art's collection spans over 5,000 years of human history. New York City Broadway is home to the longest-running show, The Phantom of the Opera. The Bronx's Yankee Stadium is one of the few stadiums with a dedicated monument park. The New York Public Library's lions, patience, and fortitude have guarded the entrance since the 1910s. The Guggenheim Museum was initially criticized for its unconventional spiral design. Harlem's Apollo Theater launched the careers of numerous legendary musicians and performers. The Staten Island Ferry offers free rides with breathtaking views of the Statue of Liberty. The Flatiron Building is named for its resemblance to an old-fashioned flat-iron clothes iron. The United Nations General Assembly meets annually in September, causing extensive traffic. New York City Chinatown has the highest concentration of Chinese people in the Western Hemisphere. The Charging Bull sculpture's artist placed it in the Financial District as a symbol of resilience. The Dakota Building was the residence of several famous figures, including John Lennon. Brooklyn's Prospect Park was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted and Calvert Vaux.